Hello there everybody, a very good morning to you all and welcome back to howtotrade.com. Welcome back to another live stream here in our trading room. It's a brand new week in the market, so we're going to be looking at some brand new market opportunities. I can't imagine that it's going to be as volatile as what we saw last week, obviously with the US elections and everything. However, the markets have sort of shown their hand, and therefore we should be able to analyse the direction and the trend of the market probably a lot easier than we could last week, for example. So it should be good now the markets have settled. Sometimes when those markets settle, that's when you get the best opportunities. The following week, like sometimes when you have NFP, sometimes the following week is when you get the good trade ideas. So I'm going to have a look at those trade ideas for you and show you the sort of things that I am looking for. And we're also going to break down, of course, on the economic calendar, and we're going to have a look to see what are the top events and therefore what are the pairs or currencies or stocks or commodities that are likely to be the most volatile, should we say. If you are around this morning, feel free to pop up and say hello. I know it's Monday morning. Everyone's probably tired from the weekend. Got my coffee in. Feel free to pop up and say hello. And it's an open stream. If you have any questions, then I'll be able to answer them for you on the stream as well. Any questions about this week and what to expect or anything like that, then now's your time to do that. Okay, right, we have got a couple of people in the room, Martin174 and Devon. Hello to you both. It's very good to see you, and thank you very much for tuning in this morning. Let's start how we normally do. It's a similar sort of stream to what we do every Monday. I think this is one of the most important things that you can do as a trader is prepare for the week ahead, whether that's on a Sunday night, Monday morning. I'll do it on a Monday morning with all of you guys. So if we head over to our economic calendars for the next 7 days, what I'm looking for is high impact news events, and I'm really just looking at across the whole week, what are the high impact news events that we need to really focus on. Okay, so we are currently on November the 12th, Monday, November the 12th, and so there isn't any high impact news events today, and typical Monday really, it's quite rare that you get high impact news on a Monday. But as we go onto November the 13th, on Tuesday, we have got probably the main event of the week in terms of its impact, and that is the consumer price index data out of the US. So basically I'm talking about this lot of data here. So consumer price index data, inflation data, that's going to be really, really important for markets. Federal Reserve decided to cut by 25 basis points last week, and so hopefully the inflation will justify that, or how will it shape the future decision? Inflation's a good one to look at, because when we look at the CME FedWatch tool, which gives us a probability on things, if I scroll down here, markets currently think there's a 68.5% chance that the Federal Reserve are going to cut again in December, on December the 18th, by another 25 basis points. There's also a 31% chance that rates are going to be held where they are for this meeting. So if inflation comes in a lot softer, then this probability will probably go higher. And if the inflation comes in stronger, then this will probably be more like a 40% chance. It might come to more of a 60-40. And that would basically mean dollar strength if that was the case. And if it was the case that it looked like there was a cut coming, more likely there's a cut coming, then we could potentially see some dollar weakness. And that's probably the best way to play this over the next couple of weeks. So that's probably your main event. When we've got, as we head into the Wednesday morning, there's some data coming out of Australia over in that area. And then we've got GDP figures out of Europe on Wednesday morning. That's 10 o'clock. So, yeah, can't really see there being too many sort of banana skins really for the rest of the week. We've got PPI on Wednesday afternoon, a Fed chair speech, but he's probably just going to repeat what he said last week, so I wouldn't imagine that's going to be too crazy. Bailey speaking as well, the Bank of England governor. GDP out of Japan on Wednesday, and on Friday we've got some industrial production and retail sales out of China. So if you trade the Asia stocks or anything like that, that's a big one for you to have a look at. GDP out of the UK, and retail sales and Friday afternoon we end on retail sales. So I would say that it's an okay week. We've obviously got the inflation figure, which is going to headline the week, but it's going to be, I reckon, one of those weeks which tails off. So I reckon the volatility will probably be in the first half of the week and maybe tail off towards the end of the week. I might be wrong, but that's what it looks like here. So bear that one in mind when you're looking at some trading opportunities for today. Okay. Hello to you, Jeanette. Good to see you. R2GB as well. It's good to see you as well. Thank you very much. I hope you're all doing well. And obviously these streams are on catch up as well. So for anyone who's I know people never really tune in on Monday morning, probably because they're just tired, but I do know that people watch this on catch up. Okie dokie, right. So now we know what the main sort of events are. Now it's time to look at some of the markets basically. I'll just do a little bit of a top to bottom of my on my red list of markets. Well, this is the pound versus the US dollar, and it's just been last week was a mess, wasn't it? Look, sort of threatened to break higher, we went lower again, broke higher, and we're still sort of back in touching the bottom of this range against a market which is, grinding to the downside. But I don't think this week, or at the moment, that price action for me doesn't look appealing at all. And when that happens, and when it doesn't look appealing, look at that on the 1 hour time frame. This is clearly a market which is in consolidation, so it's gearing up for its next move. Will that move be another leg down? Will that move be a move higher? We yet to be seen. I'm not going to try and guess that, but instead, if you're going to look at some markets which are really trending, obviously you've got the euro dollar, which I've ignored that trade that's on there, because there was a good trend ride opportunity. I think Wizard Alvin put it in the chat just a second ago. I was just studying it. There was a good trend ride to sell on euro dollar. So euro dollar, if you're going to sell or you're going to try and get involved in any of these currencies, euro dollar to me looks like the one where we could potentially see some more downside. Now, the only difficulty with that is at the moment we're trading on these lows, and so my smart money concepts is that one there. We are coming up to a resistance, or we could come up to a resistance area here. I'll tell you what, this is not my favourite play at all. There's a potential 3 or 4 to 1 trade there. Again, minimal risk for me. I have to say, when I scroll through these, currency pairs, I do not like the look of them at all. I'm not really got my eyes too much on Forex at the moment. Instead, I like the look of what we're seeing on gold and silver, for example. Yes, Clive, good morning to you. Yes, that was a part of the stream as well today. So yeah, no problem at all. I can do that for you. Yeah, with the likes of gold and silver and also the stock market, these markets seem to be sort of churning up some better opportunities, in my opinion. Now, with gold, for example, this is really like I'd call this my trade idea of the week. I'm looking at gold at the moment and I can see a market which is clearly on the daily time frame bullish, right? You can see that. Higher lows, higher highs. Now, when you look at that leg of the market here, like that, you can see that where this order block comes in, this daily order block down at 2632 or 2632, is sort of right at the right in the what I would call the discounted level of that whole Fibonacci, retracement. Basically, it just means we're in like the most discount area buy that we could be down here. So what I'm looking for is, obviously, you can probably tell by now, is I'm looking for a really simple trade where the market trades down into this order block and then we look to trade it higher. So that would look like a trade that probably looks something like this. Okay. And you'd always try and target these highs. It may not get there, but at least we know that if we can get 1 or 2 to 1 out of it, we can bank some profit and move on to the next one. So that, for me, is the best trade that I'm seeing at the moment, and it's on gold. Now, there's two ways you can play it. You can either buy straight off of the order block at 2632, or you can try and refine that area if there is a refinement, which it doesn't look like there is actually. Okay, interesting. So you either buy straight off that daily area, okay, or we set an alert at the area. My camera's gone off again. Excuse me. Oh no, it's back. I thought it went. Or we wait for we go into a lower time frame, and we wait for the market to tag into this daily area, and then we wait for the structure to form on say like an hourly time frame, or 15-minute or 5-minute time frame, and we try and access a better risk reward than what we would have done before. Or you can do both and try and scale into the trade. And you can see how you can turn a sort of 4 or 5 to 1 risk reward into a 13 to 1. Obviously, it's a riskier play. There's things like you may miss it. You may not get the structure form how you want it to. You may also get sometimes where the market reacts from the area, comes, probably not that far, where the market, where is it? There it is. Reacts from our area, right? And then comes and takes the liquidity and then goes higher. You can get that as well. So just be careful doing it the second way, but you can get a much better risk reward. Ivishin, hello to you. What about shorting down to 2632 with the currency strength of the USD? I think a short could work. And do you know what? I don't think it's a bad play at all. So you'd probably be looking at, obviously, we're at 2671 at the moment. If you're going to try and look to short that, it's sort of just, it may be a slightly riskier entry to be fair, but I'm running into a bit of resistance here to be fair. I'm just trying to see if I can find a good sort of area to short it from. What about the trend rider? You can see we've already moved down. There was a good trend rider short as well last week. You could maybe utilise the trend rider. We'll talk about that a bit tomorrow, but you could utilise the trend rider for sure. Where was it? 2632, which is there. So the trade would look like this. Down to 2632. Where is that? 2.47 to 1. It's okay. If you can find a strategy which gives you a good shorting chance, Ivishen, or a good area of interest for you, then definitely, why not? Yeah, I like it. Okay, so that's really and the other market which I'm looking at very, very closely, and I mentioned this last week, was a really clean daily head and shoulders pattern on oil. And as you can see today, oil is starting to make a move down towards the neckline. And I think that potentially what we could see is you could either utilise a sell stop below this neckline, or you could wait for a break and retest of that neckline. That's the two ways that you can trade head and shoulders. You can actually see that we're now shaping up for a move down towards there, and that's like very close second in terms of trade ideas for this week. Gold being number one and oil being number two. That's can't over explain that one. That's just about as clean as it gets. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then we're now making a move down towards that neckline. So I'm going to leave that one there. I'm probably going to post gold today because we may not get that move today. But if you are on this stream, you've got and this is the benefit of watching the streams, is that you can see that this is a trade which is shaping up for this week. And other than that, it's a bit of a difficult one because you're not really looking to buy the stock market from here. In fact, well, if you believe that it's just going to keep going higher, and you're very right to think that, then you can see at the moment we have a fair value gap created over the weekend. We have already touched the 50%. Oh, there was the trade. Look at that. That was the long trade. Yeah, you could utilize you could maybe wait for the market to come and take out these equal lows, and then look to go higher. But a lot of the trades that you're going to get on the stock market at the moment is you're either going to be brave and buy on the lower time frame, but know that you're sort of at elevated all-time highs, or you try and sell it, which I think is, in my opinion, it's a bit stupid to do that. So yeah, I'm probably going to be staying out. But you can see these fair value gaps that were created over the weekend. We know how to use fair value gaps now. I just realised I've drawn the fair value gap wrong, haven't I? I'm sure someone spotted that. It opened there, which means this is a valid trade. Boom. Look at that. Fair value gap there on the NASDAQ. There's the 50% of it, 21143. S&P 500, 50% of it's about, oh wow, it's at 6,000, I think. Sorry, it's not a demand zone. Quick retest of 6,000 in the S&P 500 and see if we can trade that one higher as well. That'd be interesting. And the US 30, there isn't much really of a fair value gap we can use there. So that's the two ways I'd play the stock market today. I might actually post this one, because this is an opportunity which probably is going to come first. So if I just take a screen grab of that, and I'll post that as a trade idea in the room. Okay, right. Down to our trading tools. And here is the currency strength meter tool that I think that you was looking at, Clive. And I don't know if you've managed to see this as well, but you can filter to the pairs that you trade, for example. And basically what it's telling us is in this top left-hand corner, it's telling us the weakest. So the Japanese yen is the weakest currency at the moment in terms of, when you go on the filters, daily movement. If you look, you can move it down to the hourly time frame. So in the last hour, the pound's been the weakest currency, and the Japanese yen's been the strongest currency. So what's important is when you use a currency strength meter is make sure, first of all, you're always on the time frame that you prefer. Okay? So for example, I like the 4-hour time frame. And so I can see on the 4-hour time frame at the moment the Australian dollar, which is in green, is the strongest currency, and the weakest currency is the Swiss franc. Now the way that I've seen people do this before is go, right, okay, so if the Australian dollar is the weakest currency and the strongest currency, and the Swiss franc is the weakest, if we go over to AED versus the Swiss franc on the 4-hour time frame, what you're looking to do is find a reason to buy it. So that's when you say, right, so what it basically do, how I use the currency strength is it gives me my bias as I go onto the chart. So now I know that's what the currency strength meter is telling me. I now go on to the AED Swiss franc pair and I say, right, is there a buying opportunity? You could say, I think this might be the low of the day, for example, and I might try and get a quick 1-to-1 to reach the top of this high, because we have already made, what's that called? A bullish black crow or something pattern. I can't remember what it's called when you get three very, very similar looking patterns to what I've done before. I can't remember, to be honest, but yeah, and then you try and sort of capitalize on that. Or for example, if you were, and then these ones down here, where you see a bit of a mixture, they're pairs which you'd probably avoid. So I want to avoid the euro. The euro strong against a couple, but weak against the others. Same with the New Zealand dollar, and therefore they're the pairs which probably are less clear in terms of its direction. This here is showing me genuine AED strength. Now, for example, if I went on the say I was a scalper, I went on the 5-minute time frame. The best pair to trade at the moment on the 5-minute time frame is the New Zealand dollar versus the Australian dollar. And the good thing about this is it will show you when you hover over it. It will show you what percent, how much it's moved in that 5-minute time frame. Okay. Just check if there's any questions. Hello to you, Wizard Alvin. Good to see you. How Matt, we just had a look at gold. I hope that made sense for you. Really nice trade idea there on gold. Did that make sense, Clive? If you want my honest opinion, is I used to use it probably a lot more than I do now. I don't really use it too much because I let market structure tell me the strength, you know. And remember, this is only telling you the most recent 4-hour candle. So we could be in a really bearish trend because the 4-hour candle has been a bit of a snap higher. Then it could just be showing that's the strongest currency at that time. What you need to remember is it's always important to study market structure. And also, don't use it. Don't just say, right, I'm buying AED USD Swiss franc now. Find a reason to, is what I'm saying. So if you know AED strong and the Swiss franc's weak, you go on the chart and find an excuse to buy it. Find a reason to buy it, like an actual reason, and it should follow your strategy. It just gives you that initial, okay, I'm looking for that, am I? Okay, let's go on the chart now. You see what I mean? Cool. No problem. Okie dokie, right. And I think that just about covers things for today. That was your breakdown of this week's top events and opportunities. I hope everyone managed to benefit or take something from that. Do let me know if you do have any questions in the chat room. I'll be available if you message me to answer any questions you have. I'll post the FVG trade in the room as a trade idea because I think that will hit first. But if you were tuning into the streams, you'll know I've got my eyes on oil and gold as well. And yeah, that's breakdown for this week, and we'll update accordingly as we know more. Thank you very much for tuning in. Take care, trade well, and I'll see you soon.